Okay, so we're going to review graphing lines. Take a look at number 1. If you remember, our general equation for a line is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Okay, remember the slope is our rise over run. Our y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. So we want to find these two things on our graph. Now the y-intercept is where we begin. Okay, you can think of B as the beginning. Okay, so we begin with the y-intercept. So my y-intercept is -2. So I want you to circle the -2 and label it the y-intercept. And then we're going to plot it on our graph. Now the slope is the m, it's how we move. So I want you to circle -1/5, not with the x. Don't circle the x is not the slope. -1/5 is the slope. So we're going to rise -1 and we're going to run 5 from our beginning point. So from our beginning point, I'm going to go down 1 and I'm going to go to the right 5. That's going to get me my next point. So we start at the y-intercept and then we use the rise over run, we use the slope to find the next point. Let me get my line here. And then you're going to draw a line connecting your 2 points. Let me make my line thicker here. There we go. So that would be my line. Oops. Okay, number 3. Again, the first thing we're going to look at is our y-intercept. And remember, y equals mx plus b. Now in this case, I don't see any plus b. There's nothing being added. So if I had to force something, it would actually be a 0. So my 0 is my y-intercept. So write plus 0 and label that y-intercept. And then circle the -5/2, and that's our slope. So we're going to begin at the b, or the y-intercept. We're going to begin at 0. Then our slope, our rise is -5. Our run is 2. Now you notice the negative in front, it can either be associated with the numerator or the denominator. I usually put it with the numerator because going down 5 tends to have less errors than using the run as a negative number. So I start at my y-intercept and I'm going to go down 5 and to the right 2. Let's get our line. Connect your points and make your line. And if you notice, my line is going down and my slope was negative, so I know I'm doing something right. So we're going to plot the y-intercept It's the first step. Second step is use the slope to find the next point. And then connect the points. Make your line. Hit pause to get those notes copied. Okay, number 5. Again, let's identify our y-intercept is -5. Remember, if we're subtracting, that makes our y-intercept negative. And our slope is 2. Now, if you have a whole number, your rise would be 2, your run would be 1. So I want you to mark each of these things on the problem. So we're going to begin at our y-intercept, so start at the y-intercept, and then use the slope to find your next point. So from this point, I'm going to rise 2, and I'm going to run 1. Let me back this up. And that's where I get my next point. Let's get our line here. You notice my line is going up from left to right, and my slope is positive. Everything matches up. And that's it.